Oh no. Having a bit of a mare with trying to set this tripod up today. Let me just check that I am live. All right. Okay. Hope we're all good. I'm just gonna sit down for a second and have a drink of water. Wait. So, hope everyone's okay. Hope everyone's having a good week so far. It's Wednesday, I think. Losing track of the days. And if my tripod falls over at any point, that's just the way it is. Big image of my face. It's just the way it is. If my internet goes, just the way it is today. So today we're going to be having a look at crow pose, bakasana, often quoted as a beginner's arm balance, although I don't think there's anything beginner about it. It's actually probably the arm balance I personally struggle with the most. It's tricky, but it's also one of the first arm balances we come to in Ashtanga. Bhujapadasana is the first one, and from Bhujapadasana you come into Titibhasana, you take your legs back, bakasana, and you jump back into Chaturanga. So one of the first arm balances we come to in Ashtanga. It involves us balancing on our hands, creating a shelf with the arms, placing our knees on the back of our arms, gently moving the weight forward so the feet come off the floor. I'm sure you've all seen pictures of it, and it's a tricky one, but I suppose it is a good one to start with. You are quite low to the ground, so if you fall, there's not far to go. I'll be explaining a couple of ways to fall in this safely. But one of the main issues with bakasana is there's so much going on with the hands and with trying to balance that people forget the key to this posture is bringing your legs as much as possible in towards the body, sucking your thighs in towards the body, using the strength of the core, the hip flexors, and that is what's going to make this posture feel light. Some of the main complaints I get is that it feels like it's very heavy in the hands, it all feels kind of very crunched. You want to try and find that lift through the core, and that's going to really help your stability in this posture. So, we're going to be doing something a little bit different today. We're going to start with uḍḍīyana bandha and nauli. So I'm just going to say, to preface this, that I've seen these postures be taught in a variety of different ways. I am going to teach you these postures the way I have been taught them, the way that works for me. If there is a way that you know how to do these postures, absolutely fine. But this is my class. I'm going to be teaching them the way that I know. It's the way that works for me. And I will be explaining what they are to the best of my ability. Again, if I miss information out or my pronunciation isn't great, you're just going to have to forgive me on that one. Okay, so we'll start with uḍḍīyana bandha. Three main bandhas in the body: Jala bandha, the throat bandha; Mula bandha, the pelvic floor; and uḍḍīyana bandha is the abdominals. It means abdominal lock or abdominal lift. So this is going to be helpful for our crow pose, because if you think about it, what we're trying to do is suck the knees in towards the body. This in and up through the stomach is going to facilitate that movement. So we really want all three to be working in uḍḍīyana bandha, which is the sort of thing we're going to do first. Now, it's a kriya, it's a cleansing practice in yoga. It's meant to stimulate the digestive fire. It's good for digestion, but today we're going to be using it predominantly to strengthen the core muscles. This is an incredibly strong core exercise. A few contraindications I think I should mention. I'm going to have to take it a bit slow to begin with, because I'm going to have to think about what I say. So, a couple of things. Asthmatic, mum, be careful. If you're pregnant, obviously no. If you have just eaten a meal, you can, but you might be sick, so you want to take it easy. Ideally, you want to do this on an empty stomach. I mean, I've had breakfast, but it was a while ago. So just make sure you haven't eaten too close to this or drank like copious amounts of liquid. So take it easy. It can also make you quite lightheaded, so you want to be careful of that. If you have a tendency to get lightheaded, then just take it easy with sort of this posture. Take a couple of breaths in between. All right. Here we go. It's I'm not I'm not an expert. I think I am quite expert level. But I'm going to have to take it slow when we learn how to do this. So, uḍḍīyana bandha. It involves us sucking our abdominals in and up, hollowing out between the hip bones. You will end up with a concave stomach. The stomach will draw in. All right, it's good. So at this point, it's not nauli, so we don't want that little pouch to stick out. We don't want to push the abdominal muscles out yet. We just want to hollow out the stomach. So if you've not done this before, what we do is we set the position up first. Again, I've seen people do this in multiple ways. Some people do it from seated. Some people don't move as they do it. I like to add a bit of movement in. And other people just launch straight into it. If you've been doing it for a while, you can just stand up and do it. But this is the way that I was taught it. So you have your feet hip width apart or slightly wider. You bend your knees. You don't want to like bend them massively. They shouldn't be coming over your toes. Soft bend in the knees. You place your hands on your thighs, fingers face inwards. Okay, so it looks a bit like this. Now your starting position, the arms are straight. And the back is in quite a neutral position at this point. So this is the starting position. Bracing yourself. So what we do is we take a few deep breaths here, just setting the posture up. So feet hip width or slightly wider, knees bend, hands on the thighs, fingers face in, and the arms are straight. Back is relatively neutral at this point. Now we take a couple of deep breaths. What we do from here is you take an inhale and then you exhale, sink down a little bit lower. The arms are going to bend, and then from here you take a mock inhalation, which means you inhale but you retain the breath. So you take an inhale, you draw the tummy muscles in and up, you come back to the starting position, you tuck your chin in, and you gently tuck your tailbone under. So that locks Mula Bandha and Jalandhara Bandha, and then you have a concave in your stomach. I'm going to show you what it looks like, because I'm aware that is a little bit confusing. Well, I thought I explained it quite well, but it is confusing if you've not done it before. So this is what it looks like. So just watch me. And then you hold a breath for as long as you can on that inhale. So what I mean by a mock inhalation, it's like you inhale without making the inhale. So it's like, okay? We'll see how it goes. So up close, it looks a bit like this. All right. You're going to see a lot of my belly today. I'm aware that this is a bit confusing. So. Okay, so let's give that a go together. So it's an upward lift. So you sink down a little bit lower on the exhale, and then mock inhale. So it's like that movement of the inhale. Without inhaling, you come back up to the starting position. You hold that concave. It should feel quite strong. So let's do that a couple of times together. Right, it's a complicated little thing. So feet hip width apart, slightly wider, knees bent, hands on the thighs, fingers face in, arms straight. Spine relatively neutral to begin with. Just take a couple of deep breaths to settle in. And whenever you're ready on the exhale, you just sink a little bit lower, bend the elbows, and then take a mock inhalation. You come back up to the starting position. You tuck your chin in, you tuck your tailbone under ever so slightly, and you hold the concavity in the stomach for as long as possible. All right, so I'll do it with you. okay. So when you've had enough of that, maybe do it a couple more times. Oof, come up to standing, but just take it easy. Take a couple of deep breaths in between the sets. It's a tricky one, but hopefully you're feeling the strength in the core as you suck your abdominals in and up. All right, it takes a while to get used to, so if you're thinking, what the are we doing, Ashleigh? It's fine. So it has a tendency to maybe make you a little bit lightheaded, so just be careful. So that's uḍḍīyana bandha. It's hard to explain. Like if you don't, like when people say engage your bandhas, it's confusing. Like I didn't know what they meant for a long time, and to be fair, sometimes I still don't. But you're learning, and that's uḍḍīyana bandha. That's something you can practice. Now naulis I'm not great at, but it's exactly the same. But this time you want to see if you can pop your abdominals out. I can do this bit. So exactly the same, okay? So if you watch me, come through that movement and just watch my stomach. So hopefully you saw that little pouch appear. So you don't need to pop it in and out like that, but that's something you can do. If you're there, you can work on popping it in and out like that. Or you might just want to hold that little pouch that comes out. It's going to feel really strong. Now, eventually you churn the stomach. I'm not great at this, so it looks a little bit like this. It's the weirdest class ever, isn't it? Wait, I don't know if you can see me because of my hair. Let me just do my hair back. So if you know what you're doing, go ahead and just practice on your own time. But if you don't, so twerking helps. If you can twerk a little bit here, it's quite helpful. You'll see what I mean. So. Okay. So you see what I've done with my hips there? So last time, but weird, everyone's tuning in, not even know what's going on. So with my hips, I'm kind of doing that. Eventually, I mean, I've known a lot of people who can do this amazingly. They can stand like that, they can pop it out, they can churn it, they can do it from seated. I'm not one of those people, I need a little bit of extra help with this. So wiggling the hips can sometimes facilitate that churning of the stomach. And you do a couple of those and your core really wakes up. So what we're going to do is you're either going to repeat uḍḍīyana bandha, that sort of in and up lift, just work on that. If you're not feeling the abdominals sort of pop out, that's okay, just practice the one we just practiced, okay? Just be careful of the breath and being a bit lightheaded. Otherwise, you're going to practice just sticking the pouch out and holding it. It should feel quite strong. Or you can practice popping it in and out. I don't have any technique, I'm sorry about this. Like, I can't be like, this is how you pop your abdominals out. It's just something you've got to keep practicing. Eventually you will start to feel the separation of that. And then if you are practicing the naulis, which is the churning, you can wiggle your hips a little bit. So let's do that together. Let's just do a couple times. Again, you can do it in your own time. So if you need reminding, it's feet hip width apart or slightly wider, bending the knees, your hands on your thighs, your fingers face in. And sometimes it's quite helpful to press the fingers into the thighs to help this movement. So spine quite neutral to begin with, arms straight. Take a couple of breaths. Whenever you're ready, you're going to exhale, bend the knees, bend the elbows a little bit. Then inhale, mock inhalation, suck it up. Come back to the starting position, tuck the chin in, tuck the hips under, and then see if you can work either uḍḍīyana bandha or that nauli. I'll do it with you. Let's just do a couple. I'll keep doing it, so if you get confused, you can watch me. We'll do it about 2 or 3 times. times. Just a couple more. Nearly there. Just wanted to do this to begin with to get the real sense of in and up, and that real kind of like what we need for crow to work really. I'll do it once more. Do it once more facing this way. See my bad nowies? See if you can go both ways as well if you're doing the naui. See if you can churn your stomach both sort of right to left, left to right. Alright, just bear with me, it happens. Alright, enough of that. Well done. It's something that I'm always working on, my nowies. Good though, hopefully you feel that strengthen the core. So once you've finished, I mean, feel free to carry on practicing. So ideally you do them in the mornings on an empty stomach. That's the way I was taught them. Some people don't do this. So some people don't do the drop. But for me, just staying in this position, it's harder. It's harder for me to find that same upward lift. With the little sink down and then the suck up, the movement of the body and the arms can sort of facilitate that lift. And I think it's a good way for beginners to learn at least. Eventually, you do it from this position here. Nothing's happening for me. So I'm not quite there yet. All right, so whenever you've done that, just come down onto the floor and then lie down for a second. So you can have the legs straight, knees bent, soles of the feet together, knees fall out sideways. Snot everywhere. Up to you. I just want you to just sort of let that breath settle. So finding a comfortable lying position that you can be still in. Letting your breath come back to normal. It's an intense practice, for sure. I mean, I don't do them as much as I probably should. Really helpful if you're looking to do handstands and headstands and any kind of inversion. These arm balances, it is no better way to wake the core up, really. Okay, just a few more moments here. And just remember that feeling. Just remember the feeling of in and up, sucking that sort of the abdominals in and up. When we come to our crow later, and apply it to drawing your thighs towards your belly. All right, great. So if your knees are apart, very slowly bring your knees together, and we're all going to take a cat stretch. So point the toes down the mat, arms overhead, lengthen. Just make yourself as long as you can here. And then exhale, just hug the knees into the chest, rock from side to side and make some circles, back of the head on the floor. So quite fun ones to, I mean, some people go mental and do like loads of those. You can just do as many as you like. until like me, you're out of breath and you're bright red in the face. All right, and then take both feet to the floor. So we're going to begin with some reclined crow crunches. So effectively, this is crow. We're just on our back instead of balancing on our hands. Again, think about what we want the abdominals to be doing. That in and up, that suction. Again, helpful in downward dog to suck the hips back. So with this posture, just want you to draw the knees in towards the belly. Separate the knees. So they're on the outside of the body and your feet are close together. So this is the position we want to be when we come to our crow. From here, I just want you to raise the arms overhead. That's it. Here. That's it. I've forgotten what I was doing then. You want to raise your arms straight up and spread the fingers. So this is our starting position. It's effectively crow, right? So imagine you're balancing on your hands here, fingers are nice and spread, wrists, palms are flat. And then as you inhale, what we're going to do is we're going to lift the tops of the arms up towards the knees back towards the tops of the arms. So you inhale, curl the back of the head off the floor, lift the arms up towards the knees towards the back of the arms, hold it. And then exhale, lower. Good. Inhale, lifts. Should feel quite hard. And then exhale, lowers. Inhale, lift, back of the head, core's working, tops of the arms to the knees, knees to the tops of the arms. And lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. A few more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift and hold. Okay, so really squeeze the knees back, sucking the thighs in towards the belly, extending up through the arms. Feeling the work in the tummy. And then exhale, just let the head come down and the knees come down. And then you are going to take a cat stretch. Oh, my stomach. See, I told you, it's like, honestly, those naulis and uḍḍīyana bandhas, we don't really need to do any more core stuff, we're done. So just take a big cat stretch here. And then hug your knees into your chest again, rock from side to side. So if you were managing to get the knees and the back of the arms connected, then it shows you do have enough core strength to hold this posture. Other things might trip you up, confidence, wrists, that kind of stuff, but you have enough core strength for this posture. If your knees weren't on the back of your arms yet, you might find that when we come to crow, you may be able to get into it, it might feel a little bit heavy. So this is a really good preparation to show you what might cause you problems when we get to crow. All right, then up we come. A weird class, isn't it? Oh God. Right, cat cows. I'm sorry. The reason we're coming into cat cows is because when we come into crow, we do want to round the back. People forget about this. They try and come into it quite like flat, low down. You want to round the back like this. I mean, you come into it like this. Cat cow's a good way to prepare for that. So fingers spread underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Now press your palms and your fingers down into the floor. It's going to be important. We need to start working on the wrists a little bit. And then as you inhale, lift the hips, lift the chest, look forward. And then exhale, round the back, tuck the chin to the chest, arch the spine towards the ceiling. So the inhale lifts hips, chest, you look forward. And then exhale, round. So use your own breath. Make the movement slow, steady. Another reason why cat cow's good, especially after what we've just done, is you may feel a little stretch on the belly on every inhale. So stretching out the core muscles we were just contracting. They can get tight like any other muscles. I've pulled my core muscles before. I've tried to get into a back bend wheel without warming up. And I felt a snap all down my stomach and the front of my body, and I pulled all my stomach muscles. So you do need to stretch them out. Okay, fab. And then at the end of your next exhale, just come to a flat back. From here, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand, scoot your left knee back, and we're coming into an easier variation of lizard. All right. So to begin with, we want the right knee over the right ankle, scooching the left knee back. So you should feel a big stretch at the top of your left leg, right hip, maybe in a right thigh, that groin area. And the reason we're doing this is because we need to, again, get our knees quite close in towards our arms. A lot of people come into crow from balasana, little yogi squat, so it's quite beneficial to start opening the hips. And then very tempting to let the shoulders roll forward. I always say this, but everyone kind of goes like this, looks down, shoulder rolls forward. See if you can keep the shoulders lifting. Gently drawing back, breath steady. Wonderful. And that, the flexibility also we're bringing into the top of the left leg. It's going to be helpful if the left quad, the left hip flexor is very tight. It might be difficult to walk your legs in towards your body. Okay, so you're more than welcome to stay here. If you want a deeper stretch, provided that right knee's okay, you just turn your right foot out 45 degrees. See how that feels? You can inhale and then exhale, maybe let the right knee fall out towards the right. So the inside of your right foot starts to lift. This is a journey, these are all options. You stop at any point you want. This is just bringing a deeper stretch to those who might have slightly more open hips, that's all. Not the be all and end all if you can't do it. You always want to be careful of that right knee though. If the hip's tight, the right knee, in this case, will take the brunt of the posture. Don't want that. So if you need to bring the foot back down, if you need to square the toes up, absolutely go ahead. We're not going to stay here for all that much longer. If you want a deeper stretch, again, more than welcome, bend the elbows, sink a bit deeper, maybe come down onto forearms. So I do this one quite a lot. It's beneficial for a lot of postures we do. Kind of very quickly opens up into the hips. Okay, and then just find a position you can be still in for a few moments. We'll say 5 slow breaths. So if you cannot be still in the posture, it's a sign you've gone too far. If the breath is starting to get a little bit laboured, it's a sign you've gone too far. So prioritising the breath over the posture for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, okay? If you're on your forearms, up onto straight arms, foot back down, toes face forward. You're more than welcome to come through a little hamstring stretch here if you want, but we don't really need to today. So just step the knee back into all fours, and then step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Scooch the right knee back. We'll do exactly the same thing the other side. So left knee over that ankle to begin with, toes face forward, taking a moment to set the posture up. I've got a stone or something underneath on that. So much for distractions, eh, Ash? Eh? Feeling that big stretch in the right quad, right hip flexor. Very helpful when we come to our crow. Sucking the left knee in towards the arm, again a helpful movement. Chest lifted, breath steady. And just bear in mind one side's probably going to feel a little bit tighter than the other. Okay, fab. So if you stayed here and you think, oh, I could do with a bit more, then you can turn your left toes out, 45 degrees, maybe let the left knee fall so the inside of the left foot lifts. Again, you can change your mind and have a play. Be mindful of that left knee. And then again, if you want a bit more, you can come down onto forearms. You might want to bend the elbows. Just sink down a little bit deeper into that left hip, and then finding that place you can be still in. No point fidgeting. I mean, a little bit of movement's okay. You know, maybe move in to see if you can find the position where you feel the posture. But you don't want to then keep moving, because what you're doing then is trying to avoid pain. It's a sign that something's not feeling comfortable. You keep moving to avoid it. So you need to come out of the posture a little bit if you can't be still in it. Beyond that first point. And then we'll hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Straight arms if you're on bent arms or forearms. Foot back down, toes square up. You can come through that hamstring stretch if you want. You take the hips back and straighten the left leg, or you're just going to step straight back into all fours. Come into child's pose, feet together, knees wide, bum towards heels, and then just allow the body to sink down. Doesn't matter if the forehead doesn't come to the floor. You can come up onto forearms or straight arms. Just see if you can get the bum and the heels as close together as possible. I mean, really, again, not a very kind of similar position to where we want the legs in crow in many ways in child's pose. It's really helpful to start seeing all these parallels. So if you're ever going through a yoga class, it's helpful to start, especially if you ever want to teach, or you're just getting interested in, to start seeing the connections between the postures. Ashtanga is a good one for that, because the sequence is designed to lead on from one another. Alright, and then up, into a force. And then into downward dog. Fingers spread, actually, let's work on the hands. Seeing as crow's an arm balance, you're standing on your hands, you need the wrists to be primed. So downward dog, there's sometimes a tendency to claw the mat, gaps underneath the fingers, overloading into the wrists, not sharing the weight. So let's just start with the hands underneath the shoulders. This is a good way to prepare the hands. So just come up onto the fingers here. Might feel quite unnatural. You're up onto the fingers, you've lifted the palms. Now just feel that connection between the fingers and the floor. And then once the fingers are flat, spread, connected, then you can drop the palms. Then feel the connection between the palms, the thumbs and the floor. There's a real strong sense of upward push through the arms as you tuck the toes and then send your hips up and back. Maybe that will help you feel a little bit more grounded through the hands. And then in this downward dog, you can pedal the heels out if you want, just because we haven't really done much with the hamstrings yet. So if you want to stretch into the back of the legs, you can, but we're more focused on the wrists here, the shoulders, waking those up. Because while, in my opinion, arm strength is important for sure, it's one of the things, it's not all of the things when it comes to arm balances. So you do need a bit of arm strength for crow, absolutely. So we're working the shoulders here, the arms. Okay, and then once you've done sort of pedaling the feet out, just keep them quite static. Push forward with the hands to take the hips back. Now think about uḍḍīyana bandha here. Think about what we were doing earlier. In and up. Hollow out between the hip bones. See if that movement helps you suck the legs back. So this isn't about, there's a practical reason that people say hollow out between the hip bones, suck the belly, and what they're trying to say is find that kind of upward lift that we get. Sometimes it's just not phrased great. Okay, and then from here we're going to come into malasana. So you are either stepping or jumping your feet to the outside of the hands and you're sinking the bum down. Little yoga squat. I imagine everyone who does this class has done all the classes with me before. I'm a big fan of this. Okay, so feet turn out sideways, hands into prayer. Arms, legs connected. So some people come into crow like this. You're not going to do it now. I don't think it's the best way to come into crow, but some people will just come down into malasana, hands on the floor, and then roll forward. It makes for a very sort of low crow. So I don't think it's the best way to do it, but this is fantastic prep, because it is an entry, So just keep the butt sinking down. Keep that pressure between the hands and the legs. Also quite important when we come to crow, that kind of resistance. This is fun, isn't it? Doing a good job. Okay, fabulous. Just a few more moments. Actually, we can stretch into the wrists here. You can tell I'm I'm just making up as I go along now. All my faves. So stretch into the wrists from here, from this position. Oh, I should say actually, if you can't get the heels down on the floor, don't worry about it. You can have the heels up off the floor. And if you're struggling with balance, you can take the hands to the floor. So you might look a bit more like this. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Just do your best. Now if you have got the hands in prayer, you're going to point the fingers to face downwards, and then you're going to draw the wrists up in towards the chest. So you should start to feel that wrist stretch. You can see me doing it now, can't you? Shuffling from side to side to try and avoid the sensation in my hips. So trying to find that stillness. keeping the breath steady, trying to avoid leaning forward in this, so extending through the crown of the head. Amazing. All right, fingers back up, and then you're going to push yourself back up into standing. Whoosh, okay, right. Give your shoulders a little shake. Big sigh. It means I wasn't breathing properly either. If you're sighing, that's usually a sign you're retaining your breath. So we're going to come through a couple of forward folds now. We're going to come through the Ashtanga forward fold. So the first one, more just to prep back of the legs, lower back. The second one though, where we stand on our hands, is another wrist stretch. Often you don't feel the wrist stretch because you're so caught up on the back of the legs and the lower back, but there is a wrist stretch in it. So feet hip width apart and parallel, toes spread, hands to hips. You inhale, lift the chest, you exhale, fold forward, bend the knees as much as you need to. Take hold of your big toes first, 2 fingers and thumbs. Now we're making a circle, so the thumbs are touching the fingers, and then as you inhale, you look forward, straighten the arms, and then exhale, fold. You're coming into your forward fold. Okay, so you can bend the knees. Again, think about drawing the tummy to the thighs. That's more important than having the legs dead straight. Thumbs are off the mat, and then your elbows gently out to the side, and then draw your shoulders back. Your head is heavy, your weight is forward into the toes, feeling that stretch, back of the legs, lower back, back of the neck. So after that first initial inhale, look forward, exhale, fold. We don't lift the head after that, so quite a few people tend to do that the whole way throughout the posture, but there's only one inhale, find length, exhale, fold, and then you're in the posture. Okay, lovely. Then from here, you inhale, look forward. Then exhale, stand on your hands if you have the room, toes up in towards wrist. So this is the inhale we do, so you inhale, look forward, find length, and then exhale, fold. Same thing, forward fold, elbows out sideways, shoulders draw back. If it's not comfortable to stand on your hands, come back to the previous variation. Otherwise, press your toes into your wrists. See, you can't really feel the stretch. Well, you might be able to feel the stretch in the wrists here, but I can't because there's a lot going on in the back of my legs. But we are stretching into the hands, helpful for the arm balances. Weight comes forward, seeing if you can draw your tummy to your thighs and your chest to your shins. Neck heavy, few more moments. Okay, lovely, then inhale, look forward, exhale, hands to hips, bend legs, you inhale, slowly come up, and then exhale, give your legs a little shake. Okay, wonderful. My stomach kills me. I haven't done those things for ages. So we're going to work through a sun salutation. We're going to come into downward dog. We're going to do some press ups. I'm sorry, I don't like them either. My upper body is something I've had to work on a lot. Like I haven't got a lot of strength in my noodle arms. I have now, butch now. But to begin with, I had to really work quite hard. So what we're going to do, I'll just quickly show you so you don't have to watch me as we come through it. So we're going to come into downward dog. We're going to do some downward dog push-ups. Now we exhale, downward dog. Now from here, we're going to inhale, bend the elbows, drop the head between the hands so it's hovering, and then exhale, push back up. So you don't want the arms to be coming out, well, I suppose they can come out sideways, but better to sort of bend them back and then push up, much like Chaturanga. So in downward dog, you kind of want the inside of the elbows to be facing towards up anyway, which means elbows bend back, drop the head, whoosh, push back up. Now if you have to bend the elbows out sideways, if that's what you have to do for whatever reason, go ahead. But in downward dog, eventually, we're trying to get the elbows, inside of the elbows to face more up. Right, give it a go. I need a drink. I was sorry. I taught a class earlier as well, and I was just chatting the whole time. I don't think we've done any yoga. I think we just had a chat. Okay, so front of your mat, feet and knees together, lift the shoulders, allow them to fall back, head slightly tilted forward. The reason we're doing this is just to wake the shoulders up a little bit, to get the arms a little bit strong. We focus a lot on core, bringing the thighs in towards the legs already. So shoulder time. So inhale, arms up, look up, I'm right there with you. Exhale, fold, hands to floor, drop the head, forward fold. You inhale, look forward, hands stay flat if possible, weight in the hands. Exhale, back to plank. Forward to low press up on the floor. You inhale through a back bend. And you exhale, downward dog. Okay, here we go. So just take a moment, set your downward dog up. So fingers spread, feet hip width apart and parallel. You can have a little look at your elbows. So yeah, we really want the elbows to be facing more up eventually. Inwards, facing each other, or up. Then from here, as you inhale, you're going to bend the elbows, drop the head, forehead in between the hands, but don't touch, hover. And then exhale, dog. I think these are called pike press-ups in other things. I don't know, downward dog press-ups. Inhale, hover. Exhale, dog. Inhale, hover. Exhale, dog. Breathe. Inhale, hover. Exhale, dog. Inhale, hover. Exhale, dog. So you come forward onto your tiptoes if you're a bit confused about that. Inhale, hover. Exhale, dog. 3 more. Inhale, hover. Exhale, dog. Inhale, hover. Exhale, dog. Make whatever noises you want. Inhale, hover, last one. Exhale, dog. And from downward dog, come down onto your knees. Child's pose, whichever one you like. Maybe take the arms either side of the body and give the shoulders a relax. So my mum, I know she's probably doing this, or she's just watching, pretending to do it. But, but I know she's 10 times as strong as me. She's probably laughing. I got noodle arms. Okay, so let the shoulders relax, give the wrists a wriggle. And then when you're ready, just pop yourself up to seated. I hope we're feeling strong. Like, you know, strong in the shoulders, strong in the core. We've done a lot of strong work today. Have a drink. You'll just need to have a moment. Have a drink. It's not really a yoga class, is it? It's more like practice with Ashleigh. Casual. Last prep posture we're going to do. Again, we're going to do some little boat tuck sets. So we're not going to come into boat for 5 breaths, lift, whatever. We're going to come into boat, and then we're going to cross the ankles and suck the thighs in towards the belly. This is a very important movement, the movement we've been trying to sort of focus on throughout this whole class. So with boat, I'm just going to quickly explain in case you haven't done it. You have a few options. You want to keep the chest lifted. What's going to happen is the chest is going to want to round. But see if you can imagine there's a piece of string coming out your chest, lifting the chest forward. The arms are parallel. You have an option. You can either take the shins parallel, suck the thighs in towards the body, or you can straighten the legs and make a V position with the body. Try not to let this happen. Okay, so lift, you balance, and this is bow. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to exhale, suck, cross, squeeze, and then inhale, bow. We're going to exhale, cross, suck the thighs in, bow. All right, we're just going to do that till legs fall off, and then we're ready to give crow a go. But everyone's like, oh, I don't want to do crow now, Ashleigh. You've done too much stuff, when the preparation is harder than the arm balance. So, come into your variation of boat. Now, if this hurts your back at any point, just give this one a miss. You've already done enough hard work, you can just wait. So you've either got the shins parallel, arms parallel, fingers together, no jazz hands, or you're straightening the legs coming into boat. Okay, so from here, exhale, cross, squeeze the thighs in towards the belly, and then inhale, boat. Exhale, cross, squeeze, and then inhale, boat. Keep the chest lifted. Exhale, cross, squeeze, inhale, boat. Think about uḍḍīyana bandha. Exhale, cross, squeeze, inhale, boat. Exhale, cross, squeeze, inhale, boat. So we're replaying in your nightmares tonight. Exhale, cross, squeeze, inhale, boat. 3 more. Exhale, cross, squeeze, inhale, boat. 2 more. Exhale, cross, squeeze, exhale, boat. Inhale, cross, squeeze, and then exhale, boat. Relax. Oh my god. I'm dumb. Crow, what's that? Alright, fantastic. Come down onto your backs. I really hope you're feeling the strength in the belly, the core, the tops of the legs, the shoulders. So take a cat stretch. Hug your knees into your chest, rock from side to side. Whew. And then when you're ready, you're going to pop yourself up to seated and we're going to give this a go. Have a drink. It's a moment to just let your breath come back to normal. So, crow. The evolution of crow. Crows start quite low. It's a poem. Crows start quite low while you're figuring it out. The elbows are quite bent. It creates quite a big shelf. There's very much a sense of downward push. Over time, as we find uḍḍīyana bandha, as we find the core strength, as we get a little bit stronger through the arms and the shoulders, we lift. We're able to kind of lift the body up. So what happens at first is kind of this. Just bear in mind that I'm not the best at crow. So some people come into it from malasana. This is how a lot of people learn. They squeeze the legs on the outside of the arms. The hands are flat. They just kind of like, I'm going to fall over. They just kind of like pick the feet up. Crows look like this to begin with for a very long time. All right, so if you're here, don't worry about it. But as you can see, there's a lot of downward energy there that's going through my wrists. That it feels very strong and quite unelegant. Not that anything I ever do is elegant. So what we need to think about is starting a little bit higher. We need to think about sucking the thighs in towards the belly and squeezing. So we have that same sense of squeeze that we just worked with the boat. We point the toes and we round the back. So let me just come into it and show you what I mean, and then I might remember some more stuff to say. So from malasana, you come up higher. You have your hands shoulder width apart. What you need to do is bend the elbows backwards ever so slightly to create a small shelf for your knees to sit on. Some people have their knees right on the back of their arms. Some people have their knees on the outside of the arms. If the knees are on the outside of your arms, you need to squeeze the knees, otherwise you're going to fall. I have my knees on the outside of my arms. I cannot do it with my knees on the back of the arms. So from here, already think about uḍḍīyana bandha, sucking the belly in and up. You walk your knees in towards your arms, small shelf. You gently come onto your tiptoes, you bring the weight forward 1 foot at a time. Now suck. You suck your body up. You suck your thighs in towards your body. You point the toes and you press into the arms. So there's a real sense of squeeze. That's what I'm trying to get at. A real sense of squeeze here. A way to come into this, if you've never done crow before, 1 foot at a time. Find the arm positioning. Lean the weight into the hands, lift 1 foot, put it down. Lift the other foot, put it down. Maybe lift both feet, see how you get on. All right? You keep practicing yourself, everyone, because I'm gonna go through some stuff with people. Pillow. pillow. So because we're not in a class, usually at this point everyone would be having a go. I'd be going around and having a chat with people and seeing how they're getting on. But because we're not in a class, at this point you keep practicing crow if you know it, but keep thinking about uḍḍīyana bandha as you do. I'm going to keep showing options for people. So if you're working with crow and you know it, but you're just working on lifting one foot and then the other, absolutely go ahead. If you're scared of falling over, watch me. Pillow. You're not going to go anywhere. All that's going to happen is you're going to face plant the pillow. You have to take the weight forward, all right? There's a forward motion in crow. This isn't about pressing into the hands and lifting your butt up. This is about transferring the weight back to forward. So you're in your little malasana, you've lifted the legs, you've walked your hands, God, your knees into the backs of your arms, and you found that position either on the outside or on the backs of the arms. It started. Now from here, bending the elbows, creating a shelf, and you're finding a little forward motion. Maybe one foot, maybe two, maybe both. Oh, I'm going to fall over. Oh no, oh. I'm alive, okay? Pillow in front of your face. If you fall, you're not going to go anywhere. All right, blocks. Here we go. Blocks. Some people will put their head on a block and then we'll just work on taking one foot off the floor and then the other. You're not going to go anywhere. Your head's on a block. Blocks on the feet. If you're not scared about face planting, or even if you are, pillow and blocks. Here we go. I'm in crow. I've got a bit more height because my feet are on the blocks. I'm getting that idea. Got my legs in the back of my arms. Ooh, ooh, all right. I just feel like I need to show you the variations, you know. So there we go. You've got a pillow. You've got some blocks, and it's a tricky one. So if you are working with crow, see if you can work on jumping from crow to chaturanga. So you're from your little malasana, you've come up, you've lifted the hips. Fingers spread, fingers face forward, hands flat. Come forward a bit. You walk your knees into the back of your arms. I mean, if you can do crane, at this point you would just have your knees up towards your armpits, you would slightly tip forward, you would lift your feet, squeeze your toes in towards your butt. I can't do that. A little bend in the elbows, find the leg positioning, find your crow, suck the thighs in towards the body, and then see if you can exhale chaturanga. Give it a go. I'm only doing it once. Not my favourite arm balance. So give that a go. If you're doing crow to chaturanga, come through your sun salutations, come to your downward dog, see if you can jump your feet to the outside of your hands and repeat the process a few times. Oh, I have to do it, aren't I? So, crow. Squeeze, chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale, jump, squat, up, crow, squeeze, chaturanga, inhale, exhale, dog, squat. Do it a few more times. I mean, I know you're knackered too, but in all fairness, I have been talking and doing it, so I don't think I breathed once throughout this whole class. Had enough, just come onto your backs. Everyone's like, Ashleigh, I was on my back 10 minutes ago. Don't know what you've been doing all this time. So do whatever you want here. Take a cat stretch, rock about. With arm balances, there is shoulder strength, there is arm strength. To say there's not is a lie. You do have to be strong in the shoulders and strong in the arms to take the weight of the body. This is true, but it's less about shoulder strength than you think, and more about that shift, that finding that balance point and sucking the legs in towards the body creates the lightness of the posture. Wisdom. Wisdom 101. I mean, crow, I struggle with it more than any other arm balance. Give me what's it called, grasshopper, give me 8 angle, give me flying lizard, give me a crow, I'm a mess. Do you know why I think it is? Just very quickly. I mean, look, we're nearly over now, I'll just have a chat. What I think it is that with other arm balances, there's more of your body on your arms. So with 8 angle, I pretty much lay almost a lot of my stomach on the back of my arm. With grasshopper, obviously you've got your foot on the back of your arm and you're sort of, again, leaning the stomach almost on the back of the arms. With side crow, it's similar. You've got a lot of your body on the back of your arm, but with crow, you've only got the back of your knees on the back of the arms. There's not much there, is there, to get like a good kind of like surface balance. All right, Shavasana. I was going to do a warm down, but I'm tired. If you want to do a couple of twists, you know what you're doing. And if you don't, that's okay. You just have a rest now. Just have a little rest. If you're feeling up to it, you keep going just forever. So maybe a couple of little twists. Shall we do a twist? All right, we'll do a twist together. So feet, I'll just be lazy. Feet hip width apart and parallel. Cross your right knee over your left knee. This is going to be quite a good one. Take your arms wide, palms down. Move your bum over towards the right a few inches. You inhale, then as you exhale, let the knees fall over towards the left. Then just gently turn your head, look over the right shoulder. It should feel really nice, lower back. Again, we've done quite a lot of core work today, so it is important to stretch out the lower back afterwards. When the core gets tired, the lower back starts to take the effort of the posture, much like the knees with the hips. So just allowing the body to settle, the breath to settle, and feeling that stretch, lower back, across the right glute, right hip. Okay, and then inhale back to centre, and then just uncross your legs, square your hips up, left knee on top of right, knees stacked, bum over towards the left. Inhale, and then as you exhale, knees over to the right. Then gently turn and looking over the left shoulder. No effort to get the knees down. With all these lying twists, it's a very kind of passive, heavy, lazy posture. Okay, and then inhale back to centre, uncross. Now come into Shavasana. That's better, isn't it? Just take the, I get very excited. I just need to take the bit and have a little rest. Oh dear. Honestly, more than welcome to stay in Shavasana for as long as you want. I've got to come out of it and stop the video now. But you stay here for absolutely as long as you would like. You can wiggle toes and cat stretch when you come out of it. So if you're staying in Shavasana, have a lovely Shavasana. Thank you for bearing with me today and come in. I know there's a lot of weird stuff in that class. But I know what I want to say. It's hard to say it sometimes. But with Crow, I think the thing to take away is, I can't even see my face. The thing to take away is the the sense of drawing your thighs in towards your belly, that upward lift through the abdominal muscles is what makes the posture feel light, not pressing your hands into the floor and straightening the arms. All right, I'm off. See you later. Also, I hope I have a sports bra on, but I hope my boob didn't fall out during that. I was just sitting there thinking, oh no, what if it did? But if it did, I'll just put a not safe for work mark on it. Okay. Bye.